Can I tell people that I'm behind the table?
Yes, you can. He's going to be joining us in just a minute here. I was getting ready to say I've got my favorite guest, but I must say I got my favorite co-host with me.
Well, listen, this is the first time you let me sit behind the table.
Oh, see, I got to get you
so
back
I get to ask the questions?
Yes, you do. See, look whose picture's right behind you. You're sitting here, and look who's staring over your shoulder watching you broadcast from here, though.
It looks like I was having a good time.
So you actually have been behind the table before, but not in this capacity before, though.
Well, it's great to be back. We know that another year's gone by.
It sure has.
And I've always look forward to our annual get-together.
Well, we do, and we've actually got you 2 hats to choose from for today. Didn't know the other one might be worn out. I brought you a black one and white one I'll give you. I don't know if you want to be the good guy or bad guy.
Well, it depends on the day. You know? And it depends on who I'm talking to, right?
There you go.
But,
You
I appreciate it because when I go out in my yard and smoke my cigar, I can keep the sun from coming down on my head too much. So
I like it.
Appreciate it.
Well, we think about you all the time, too, though.
Thank you.
Every time we're in the sports world, though. So another good year for the SEC.
Yeah.
You know, all good things had to come to an end. We made it to the championship game in football. Yeah. We knew to streak it in sooner or later, though. I hate it, but we're going to start doing this year.
But there was a great game, except the game was 1 minute too long. You know, other than that, it was Auburn did it. I mean, for a team that had came out of nowhere, and I don't think anybody thought they had a real shot, and they got. So, but we won 7 national championships. We had 6 runners-up, including Auburn, and it was another great year for the SEC. We had a lot of great accolades for several of our individual student athletes. So, all in all, it was another very, very fine year. And yesterday, when I gave my opening remarks, I did my annual brag bag, and there was plenty to brag about.
There sure is, though. Well, a lot of good things going on right now that we actually had our talk with our friends from Dish, though. So another chapter. First of all, let me congratulate you. We're glad you're going to be back for several more years. We weren't going to let you get out the door that easy, that we would have protested that move. But congratulations, and glad to see you're going to stay around for a couple more years.
I'm going to be here for a little bit anyway.
There you go. But we were talking about the new package with the SEC Network will be debuting in our home state, South Carolina, Texas A&M, a nice way to kick it off.
Yeah, it's a great football game to start the season with, and to have it exclusively on the network. And then, we're going to have another game that night following it with Temple at Vanderbilt, then 3 games on Saturday, including Arkansas at Auburn. And then we're going to have a rare Sunday night game with Utah State at Tennessee. So, we're going to have 6 games, and the only place you're going to see those games is on the SEC Network. So, and we're going to do 45 games overall. But that's an auspicious beginning for our new network.
And I think it's going to be great because I think that's going to be the first in the series with South Carolina, Texas A&M, where they're going to be common opponents every year. And they've even come up with a trophy. They found some kind of history that dates back to the Alamo that they're giving an award on that, though. So that's going to be interesting.
I heard Steve Spurrier comment on that this morning. He gave us all a little history lesson about the guys from Tennessee that went to the Alamo and actually, gave their lives in a very significant time.
I just hope they're not yelling, "Remember the Alamo" during the game or something like that, because I won't know what in the world we're talking about right there, though. Some other big things going on with the playoffs this year. Your thoughts with the playoff system? I know that's something that you've really looked for and worked hard on.
Well, it's been, it's been a long time in coming. We spent a long year putting it together, so it's here. Is it good or bad for the SEC? I've always taken the position that it's good for the SEC in the sense that 4 is better than 2. And then there's also a secondary or ancillary benefit to us, and that's the way we've dealt with the new Sugar Bowl that's going to be played New Year's Eve in prime time, following the Rose Bowl, and then also with the opportunity to play in the Orange Bowl as well on at least 3 occasions, and maybe as many as 5. So when you take the whole package together, I think it's good for us. But I'll be looking at it with the same interest that you do, and hopefully it'll be a success for the SEC.
I know one thing you talked about yesterday, too, that you want to see accomplished here is the student athlete, that's a big thing that your focus is right now. Can you tell us a little bit about your focus now on the student athlete?
Well, every time I get a chance to speak, I try to, given all the interest in the games and the glamour and all of that, I really like to focus back on the fact that this is an educational endeavor, that it's about education and athletics, and I always try to put education first. And the question is, our goal is to provide our student athletes in 21 sports, there are nearly 5,000 of them, an opportunity to have a great education, compete for a national championship, and prepare themselves for a happy and productive life. So everything that we do, that's what we call the collegiate model. And everything we do is geared around the collegiate model and the fact that education is paramount. Otherwise, we're some other kind of endeavor there are plenty of those folks out there. So, I never speak without talking about that and reminding people that while you're talking about games and who's going to win, that's great and we love it and it's fun and exciting, but it is about education.
And again, too, one question that a lot of people ask that maybe you can help explain during bowl season, and I don't know how much it's going to change this time, the conference actually helps teams, I guess, get in position for what bowl they're going to attend. What kind of things, go in to determine, I guess, where a team goes to play a bowl?
Well, this year we've changed it. You've got the playoff and then the Sugar Bowl, maybe the Orange Bowl. Then the Capital One Bowl. We'll get the next choice. That's never changed. But after that, we've put 6 bowls together in a pool, and the conference is going to decide who plays in which of those bowls. And we developed that over time. It's a significant change. But we believe that that's in the long-term best interest of the league. So obviously it puts me in a place where I can be subject to criticism, but I get criticized anyway when it's other people decide it. So I figure if I'm going to get criticized, I might as well do it myself. But our conference together, and we'll talk about preferences, but also as a way of explaining that there's not a pecking order. This is and then we have a couple of bowls after that, the Independence Bowl and the Birmingham Bowl. But it's a real different, it's something brand new. So not only is the college football playoff new, but how we select for at least 6 bowls is different.
You have a new bowl, I think, that's kind of exciting to our area, the bowl in Charlotte, which is going to put the ACC, SEC, and I really think that is going to be a big hit.
The Belk Bowl. We're very excited about the Belk Bowl. We've worked closely with Will Webb and Tim Belk, who've been just both wonderful and enthusiastic, and we're just delighted to be a part of that bowl. Along with the fact that our studios for the SEC network are also located in Charlotte. And so we think about Charlotte, North Carolina, with all due respect to our friends in the ACC, we consider that a very important part of who we are. And the Belk Bowl is significant, and it should be a great game. And I can't say enough good things about the Belks family and Will for the way they've handled this and made it possible for us to come to Charlotte.
All right, I got 2 more things I want to do real quickly. Number one is, what part have you enjoyed most? Now, during your tenure as the commissioner of the SEC, a lot of great things have been accomplished. But what do you look back and enjoy most about the SEC since you've been here?
Well, there's several things. Liz and I and our family, we really enjoy living in the South. We really enjoy living in the South, and we're going to stay in the South. But I think maybe most importantly, the people that I work with in the conference office are really extraordinary people with commitment and passion and loyalty. And then the governance people we work with, the ADs, the presidents, the chancellors, the faculty reps, senior women administrators, they are just a joy to work with. They're all committed to the success of the league. And they're wonderful to work with. So I think, I think about, that's really, it's a people thing, it's a relationship thing. So I think when I think about it, that's what I enjoy as much as anything.
All right, we got you on this side of the table. I told you get to ask a question. All right, what question do you want to ask now?
Well, I want to know. I guess it's harder than I thought. And I have newfound respect for you guys who sit behind this table. tell me, how many years have you been coming to SEC Media Days?
This is our 6th year of
6
coming.
years.
That I actually was a college and high school coach for 27 years.
I knew you were.
And I got out of coaching about 8 years ago, and then we first started coming 6 years ago, and this is something that Coach Tony and I have got marked on our calendar. As soon as we find it, we get it on there, but we look forward to coming
great.
down here.
Well,
This is one of the great sports experiences that we have all year long.
Yeah, it's become an event. It's become a freestanding event, and I used to say it was the unofficial opening of college football, but now it's the official opening of college football, and we're delighted to have you here. I don't know what else to ask you. I'll have to think about it. I don't want to ask you I don't want to ask about any predictions because I don't want to. I don't want to deal with that.
I'm always a kiss of death when I pick somebody to win.
I don't want to deal with that. Okay, who's your next guest?
My next guest that we have got on. That's a good question. I'll have to check with my secretary right here that I've got him down here.
Coach Tony, how are you?
The one that keeps me straight there. But the thing that
who have you had on?
Okay, we just had before you, I'll tell you my previous guest, was the gentleman who wrote the book that was coming out about the tragedy about that.
Lars Anderson.
Right. And that was, that was a great, and that's the thing I like about down here. It's more than talking to coaches. We get authors. We had the ladies that did the cookbook that year. That was great. And all that you find so many other human interest stories here on Radio Row that each year you don't know what you're going to be coming across.
And you had a nice guest because Lars Anderson is a very, very wonderful writer. And I've read several of his books. He did a wonderful book on, believe it or not, Jim Thorpe and Dwight Eisenhower played against each other in 1912 when Thorpe played for the Carlisle Indians and Eisenhower was a very fine player at Army. So he wrote a book and it was just phenomenal. So if that's the kind of guest you have, I've got an uphill climb here.
Well, no, we had that, but you're going to see how I is right now because your executive producer right here was telling me to wrap up, and I told her that you were the ones asking the questions now. Well, so now you know how I fill that in too when I get cut off, though.
Well, I don't do everything right, but one of the things I do is when Catherine tells me it's time to do something, I agree. So. Thank you for the interview. Thank you for coming on my show, and I've enjoyed having you here. And thank you very much.
Well, like I say, you are our favorite co-host that we have, and we look forward. It's always a pleasure to have you on every year.
Thank you. We enjoy it.
Mike Slive, the commissioner of the SEC.
That was fabulous.